If you are overweight right now, it is not because you don't know what to do. It is because you don't want it bad enough. You have convinced yourself that you're too busy, you're too tired, or you're just built different. But here's the truth. I'm going to slap you in the face so hard right now because your body is a direct reflection of your daily standards, not your excuses. And so in today's video, I'm going to tell you the fat loss truths no one else has the balls to tell you. So, before we get into it, my name is Conan. I'm an online weight loss coach. I've helped hundreds of busy men drop 30 to 50 pounds, all without giving up their favorite foods or spending hours in a gym. But the reason my clients succeed while others fail is because I do not sugarcoat the truth. So in this video, it will be the 5 fat loss truths that trigger most people, but will also set you free. Because at the end of the day, the truth hurts, but I think a lot of people just need to hear it. And by the end of this video, my goal is to show you how the Barbarian method rewires your habits permanently, backed by science and not by shortcuts. So let's start with truth number 1. You are not addicted to food, you're addicted to comfort. You don't binge on food because you're starving. You binge because you can't handle boredom, stress, or silence. And so, what we tend to do is we tend to use food as a distraction and not fuel. So we tend to view food as entertainment. And don't get me wrong, food, eating, it's a huge part of our culture. In America, in Africa, in Asia, food is always around, whether it's for celebrations, for parties, for get togethers, there always tends to be food around. Let's say you got invited to a party and there was no food there. It'd be weird, right? It'd be like a food with no party. Like what's the purpose here? So don't get me wrong. I totally understand that food is a huge part of just living life and being part of a human being, but it does not mean that we should view it as entertainment all the time. Like if you are not hungry, it does not mean that you should force yourself to eat. And especially when you're bored, does not give you a good excuse to keep eating. But because you use that as an excuse to keep eating, it's probably why you overeat every single day for years and decades and why you've gained all the weight, right? And actually, a study, an appetite journal, found that 75% of overeating is driven by emotion and not hunger. Meaning, most people aren't overweight because of what they eat, they're overweight because they run from discomfort. And so, inside the Barbarian Methods, our online coaching program, our method forces you to face that head on. So, you only eat when you are truly, truly hungry. So, for myself, for example, I don't really like to eat breakfast. I'm sure you guys know this by now if you guys watch my videos. Like first thing in the morning, I'm just not hungry. And I think we've got brainwashed by all these breakfast commercials, by all these breakfast brands that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And you got to realize that breakfast simply means breaking the fast. And so you get to decide when you break your fast. But because like since childhood basically we've been taught to eat right away as soon as you wake up, don't even think about having your morning coffee, don't even think about drinking your water, drinking your electrolytes, go straight into the pantry, pour yourself a sugary bowl of cereal and start your day that way, because if you don't, you're going to magically ruin your metabolism, you're going to slow down your metabolism, and you're not going to kickstart fat loss. And that cannot be further from the truth. Your body doesn't know or doesn't really care either, to be honest, when you decide to break your fast. Because when you sleep, you are not eating. You are literally fasting. And so as soon as you wake up, you are still technically in a fasted state. And your body isn't going to start panicking as soon as you wake up if you don't start eating right away. You can wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours if you want. Just eat based on when you're hungry. So I noticed for myself once I started to realize that breakfast wasn't the most important meal of the day, and I just ate whenever I was hungry, I now have found like my optimal eating strategy and my optimal eating habit. So I only eat food when I'm actually hungry. So for me personally, and please don't copy this is just for my own personal preference, I eat my first meal at around noon. So that's when I'll break my fast. First thing in the morning, like I said, I'll just have some coffee, I'll have a ton of water, I'll drink my electrolytes, I'll do my morning coffee, and I'll go straight to work, because also from a cognitive perspective, I feel a lot more clear in my head with no food in my system. I have no carbs to weigh me down. I have no sugar crashes. I have no nothing. Just a clear mind. I get to go straight to work, do that for a couple hours, and then when I'm actually hungry is when I actually eat. Wow, how crazy. And then I'll eat something, I'll go to the gym, I'll get a crazy workout in, sick pump in the gym, and then I'll have a post-workout meal right after, not right after, but yeah, after I do my workouts, and then I'll have a nice big dinner. So my feeding window tends to be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and that is when I tend to eat the majority, all of my calories. And that just helps me stay on track, maintain six-pack abs year round, maintain high energy, and then I don't eat again until the following day at around noon. So as you can tell, I have like this 6-hour feeding window from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., give or take. Sometimes it's 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., but usually 6 hours. And then the other 18 hours out of the day, I just fast, because especially eating right before bed is also not going to help you fall asleep, because you don't want to be having all this food in your body, either trying to digest all the food, right? So going back to the message, you eat only when you are truly hungry, right? So that means sitting in silence, you fast, you train, and you regain control, because until you master your emotions, you'll never master your body. Ask yourself this question right now. When you are emotional, when you are in a stress state, whenever you go through a breakup, whenever you go through something stressful in life, how do you deal with that? Do you revert straight to food, or do you do something else? I would recommend you, if you revert to food, to try your absolute best to change that. Use exercise to cope with your emotions. If you're stressed, instead of gravitating towards food, which I know can be very comforting, train your body, do an exercise, go on a walk, go outside, get some fresh air, right? Don't start panicking right away, going into the pantry and stuffing yourself with brownies. Just sit there for a moment, take a deep breath in, have a glass of water, and just go outside. Go on a brisk walk. And I guarantee you, your stress will dissipate. But on top of that, you will not be consuming thousands of extra useless calories just because you were in a stress state. Because guess what? As human beings, stress is part of life. And if you do not want stress, that means that you don't want to live, essentially, because we cannot live life without feeling stressed. And everything in life is stressful, right? Relationships are stressful. Work is stressful. Exercise is stressful. Eating can be stressful. Being overweight can be stressful. Having six-pack abs can at times be stressful. Like, being part of a human, or just being a human being, you're automatically signing up for stress. And so instead of running away from the stress, why not face it head on, knowing that it's going to be part of life, knowing it's going to happen to us multiple times throughout the day, multiple times throughout the week, the month, the years. And if we understand and accept the fact that, okay, for the rest of my life, I know I will always be stressed with something, whatever it may be. Wouldn't it be a good idea for me to cope my stress or handle my stress in a better way than always having to rely on food? Don't you think that that'll be a better, permanent, longer term solution to that issue, as opposed to constantly running away from it with fear and coping with it with food? I think so. Because in the one instance, you're just going to get fat, overweight, lethargic, all these other things. But then in the other instance, when you use exercise to cope with your stress, you'll likely actually get into better shape. You'll actually get six-pack abs. You'll feel better probably afterwards as well. So now whenever you're stressed, you're like, oh my goodness, this is an opportunity for me to be more active, get more steps in, burn more calories. So now you can almost like rewire stress in your head as a good thing, because oh my goodness, the more stressed I am now, the more I get to exercise, the more I get to move my body. Whereas in the past, your fatter version would be scared of stress, because you knew every time you were stressed, you're like, oh no, like I'm going to be eating more. And when I eat more, I eat more calories. And when I eat more calories, I'm going to be in a calorie surplus. And if I do that for a prolonged period of time, I'm going to keep on gaining more weight. And that is why people secretly, without even realizing it, gain 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds of fat every single year. And then before you know it, you look back a couple years ago, you're like, what happened to me? What the heck? I started working. I got into like I got married. I got kids now. How did this happen to me? Well, because you're not coping stress in the right way. So let's move on to truth number 2. You do not need any more motivation. What you need is standards. Motivation is for amateurs. If you are above the age of 10, If you are still relying on motivation, you are setting yourself up for failure because as we hopefully all know by now, motivation, it's just like it's a flaky friend. Like it'll never truly be there for you, especially during the tough times. Like as soon as things get tough, guess what? Motivation out the door. It does not want to deal with you. It does not want to sit there waiting for you to deal with your emotions. Like it just is out the door. Whereas discipline, but more importantly, systems, these are going to be your rock. These will always be there for you, no matter what happens in your life. And so I realized from a very young age, when I first started my fitness journey, like, don't get me wrong, I relied on motivation, but I realized very quickly, and a lot of people realize this far too late in their journey, that I could not rely on motivation. I'd feel motivated after watching a video for maybe 5, 10 minutes. I'd do a quick workout, but then afterwards, the motivation faded. And then guess what I would do? I would go back to my old habits again, and I would just, yeah, eat a bunch of food, and then I'd skip my workout the next day because I wasn't motivated the next day because I had that bad meal. Whereas if you can actually build discipline, that is something that you can actually rely upon. And the way that you build discipline, or at least what I like to tell my clients is you need to figure out, first of all, before you even think about the systems. I mean, if you have the systems in place, you don't even need to do this, to be honest. But I think it's good for most people to kind of do this, go through this practice in your own head. But what is your why? What is your purpose for even getting in shape in the first place? Because everyone, you walk across the street, you ask a random stranger, do you want six-pack abs? 10 out of 10 people will tell you yes. Like I haven't met a single person who doesn't want six-pack abs because like they're kind of cool, right? Like I have them right now. Like I would rather have abs than not have abs. But it's like, why? And everyone's purpose and reason for wanting abs could be completely different. And there's no right or wrong answer here. Like there's no like right way to do things or wrong way to do things. Like ultimately, if you want a result, it doesn't matter what drives you to get there. As long as you get there, that is the most important part. So some people want abs just so they can wake up every single morning with a bit more energy. Other people want six-pack abs so they have more confidence. So when they walk in the room, they have that swagger, they have that mojo. They can speak with confidence because, like, I'll be honest with you guys, whenever I just walk around the city, I go into a meeting, I go even onto like a Zoom call, right? And I see someone and I know that they're overweight or I know that they don't take care of their body, just subconsciously as a human, and we all do this subconsciously. So don't feel bad or don't like get mad at me for saying this. But if I see someone who is fat, who is out of shape, immediately what comes to mind is this person does not respect himself. Immediately. Just my animal brain, my ape brain subconsciously always thinks that. Now, of course, like I don't immediately just disregard them as a human being. Like, of course, they can still be a productive person to society, but right from the get-go, just first impressions, they matter. They are a big deal, especially in meetings, in business, and just life in general. Like you walk across this, like you go on Tinder, like you go on a dating app, like guess what? First impressions, that is what gets you in the door, right? Like if you physically do not look the part, you're not even going to get like the invite. You're not even going to get like through the first kind of like stage, right? So looks, first impressions, they matter a lot. And if you do not have your body dialed in, if you're not in good tip-top physical peak shape, a lot of people will just like brush you off, which is really unfortunate because you could be a really smart person. You could be very intellectual. You could be very handsome. You could be whatever. But if you cannot even get your foot in the door, right? It's like taking that first step, then you're already setting yourself up for failure. So the easiest thing you can start doing right away is to just get your body into better physical shape. Because if I see two people, one person fat, out of shape, other person six-pack abs in shape, who am I going to respect more? Just right from the get-go, first impression. The person who's in shape, the person with six-pack abs, because it doesn't just show me that he has six-pack abs, which, okay, that's cool, but it shows me so much more than just that. It shows me, okay, this person has traits of being disciplined. This person has traits of showing up even when he doesn't feel motivated. This person has traits of eating healthy, of taking care of his body, of having a good sleeping routine, of doing all these other things. And being in shape will carry on to multiple things you do throughout the life, because if you can take care of your body, it probably means that you can take care of other people. It probably means that you keep your environment clean. It probably means that you just have really good habits, right? And so it's not just about the way you look, but it's all about the way you do other things. I'm a firm believer the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you can prove to yourself that you can get into physical shape, great shape, get six-pack abs, lose the weight, but not only that, maintain that for months and years and decades, that shows me a lot about a person. Shows me discipline, shows me relent relentless, like ruthlessness. Like it shows me so many things, right? And so discipline is what actually builds muscle, burns fat, and rebuilds your life. Motivation doesn't. It does not. So if I could, like, I would just get motivation, just get it out of your dictionary. Don't even use motivation. Don't even think about motivation, because a Stanford study found that people who attach actions to identity, meaning that I'm the kind of person who trains daily, I'm the type of person who eats healthy, I'm the type of person who does X, Y, and Z in order to get into better shape, stick to habits 5 times longer than those who rely on motivation. And so inside of the Barbarian Squad, our online coaching program, every client builds non-negotiables. So now that we've identified what our why and our purpose is, now it's all about building up those systems, because systems, they never fail. If you have a system in place, if you have an SOP in place, right? It's like you show up to work, you have a set, like you have systems, you have tasks, you have a list of SOPs to do, right? And if you just do that, it is almost like a fail-proof method in order to get the job done for the day. And why not use this exact same principle to our own body? If we have a list of non-negotiables, if we have a daily to-do list, if we have a list of things that we know we have to do every single day in order to get the results we're looking for, why not create that list for ourselves? And why not follow that list every single day? Because that way, we do not have to rely on willpower, on motivation, on discipline, on anything. And all we have to do, we can be a brainless monkey and just follow the list. And if we know, if we follow this list, we will therefore get the results we're looking for. So here are the non-negotiables that I would recommend you to do. Lift weights 2 to 4 times a week. If you're super busy, start with 2 whole body workouts. If you got a bit more free time, 4 workouts, upper lower split, something like that. Number 2, hit your step goal daily. This is a non-negotiable. Make walking, make movement a non-negotiable part of your daily routine, whether it's a morning walk, an afternoon walk, an evening walk, a lunch break walk, and combine walking with something that you're already currently doing. So if you love listening to podcasts, but you just aimlessly sit there on a couch listening to one, why not combine listening with that podcast with walking? If you brush your teeth 2 times a day, which hopefully you do, why not, instead of just like standing there, walk around in circles? That's a bit extreme, but hey, movement is movement. Instead of talking on the phone with someone and just sitting there doing nothing, why not talk on the phone with someone while walking around the park, getting some fresh air, getting some vitamin D, getting some sunlight? And then also, the last non-negotiable is eat whole single grain foods at the very least 80% of the time. You don't have to be extreme like me where you do it 100% of the time. For me, it doesn't even feel like I'm dieting. Like I would so much rather prefer eating whole foods because I feel a lot better. I perform a lot better. My life is just a lot better. And I know when I eat junk food, I just feel like crap. My skin starts to break out. My digestion sucks. My sleep sucks. My performance sucks. Everything just sucks. So I'm at a point now where, yeah, most of my diet, it's like literally, I would say 99% of the time is just whole natural single ingredient foods. And with this too, like just a side tangent, your taste buds will adjust. Like, don't worry, like don't say, oh, like whole foods, like it's boring, it sucks, like blah, blah, blah. Like going back to the first point as well, actually, right? It's like, don't eat for entertainment, eat for performance, eat for fuel, eat for results, right? It's like, don't have this weird emotional attachment to food. It's like, oh, well, when I was a kid, I used to have Lucky Charms all the time. So does that mean that I can never have Lucky Charms anymore? Like, if your goals are more important than eating Lucky Charms every day, then yeah, probably. Of course, like you can still if you want to, but if you truly want to achieve your goals, you're going to be far better off replacing that with maybe a bowl of oatmeal, add some protein powder to it. And I guarantee you, like I'm at a point now where I would actually rather have that, a nice bowl of oatmeal, add some protein powder, maybe some eggs on the side, some egg whites, add some cinnamon, add some blueberries, nature's candy over a sugary bowl of Lucky Charms. I would so much rather have the bowl of oatmeal because now that my taste buds have adjusted to eating that, I tend to crave that the most because studies have shown that we crave the foods that we eat the most. And so if you just eat a lot of healthy food all the time, guess what you're going to be craving more? You're going to be craving more healthy food. So just go through the 2 week periods, 3 week periods, 4 week period, however long it takes to just eat healthy. And I guarantee you, you're going to start craving these healthier foods. You're no longer going to like be craving Lucky Charms. Like I'm currently deep, deep into my bodybuilding prep. And this is typically when most people, bodybuilders, have all these weird cravings. Like even on their social media pages, look at their explore page, and it's just filled with like food videos. They walk around, they just think about food. They're obsessed over food. I live downtown and I go on an evening walk every single evening, and I walk past stores that have food inside of them. And I am not phased. And this isn't me like bragging, like, hey, look at me. Like this is just me telling you the truth. Like I am not phased. Like at all. Like if I see food, I'm like, okay, cool. But it's not like I need that. Like I need that slice of pizza. I need that burger. I need those fries. Like I'm good. I'm chilling because I know like I got my healthy food. Like those are my homies. Like I don't need to be cheating on them with like a pizza or a burger or fries. Like I kid you not. After my bodybuilding show, I'm not gonna be one of those cringy people who eats 10,000 calories in one sitting, go to IHOP, eat a bunch of pancakes filled with sugar, or go to In and Out and have all these burgers. Like I'm not even craving that. Like my cheat meal post bodybuilding show, which will be in 2 weeks from now, it's just gonna be literally eating more food than I currently am. And that's when you know you have a healthy relationship with food, where you're not romanticizing about food. You're not fantasizing about food. You're not dreaming, having wet dreams about cheating on your diet, because then you know you're in a pretty weird spot, because you really should not be dreaming about food. You should be viewing food as fuel to get me through the day, to energize me, to help me reach my goals, as opposed to like, oh, like this is entertainment, this is fun. Like, oh, I get to put food in my mouth, I get to experience like 5 minutes of pleasure, and then I'll have the rest of the day feeling guilty. Like that's not a good relationship type of food. View food as like, okay, I eat this, it hopefully tastes good, it's like I can consume it, it's digestible, it's edible, but then I carry on with my day. Now I go crush my workouts. Now I go to work. Now I go be productive, right? So these are the non-negotiables that I want you to set for yourself. Once again, lift weights, daily step goal, and whole foods 80% of the time. You don't ask if you'll do it because you'll just do it. That is the difference between men who lead versus men who stay soft and just rely on their emotions. So let's move on to truth number 3. Processed foods are engineered to keep you fat. I've said this numerous times before during this live call and previous videos, but a lot of people think, including yourself watching this right now, you think you have low willpower. No. Your food is chemically designed to destroy your willpower. So a 2023 study from the National Institute of Health found that people eating ultra-processed diets, so these are simply diets with foods that are ultra-processed. So I like to use the example of one apple versus an apple pie. One apple has one ingredient, right? It's just an apple. Whereas an apple pie has multiple ingredients. It has the fats, it has the sugars, it has the creams, it has all these other things, right? So that's an ultra processed food, whereas the apple is a single ingredient food, right? Hopefully a 5-year-old can understand that very easily broken down. Anyway, this study found that people who eat ultra processed diets consumed 500 calories more per day without even realizing it. Without even realizing it, just because of how the food was engineered. Like those healthy protein bars, those flavored coffees, those cereals, all trigger the same dopamine centers as cocaine, as drugs. And we all know how addictive cocaine can be based on hopefully the stories that we've seen. Hopefully we have personally never done it before, but hopefully just by reading articles, reading stories, seeing videos, like, yeah, people are addicted to that, like crack cocaine, right? So that is why inside of our program, we rebuild your diet around whole, natural, single ingredient foods at the very least 80% of the time. So that includes your meats, your eggs, your fruits, your veggies, and your water. Simple, satiating. You don't diet. You just return to eating like a human being. A nice little test that you can ask yourself is, okay, if I eat a food and first of all, like if it has multiple ingredients, that already is ultra processed. But even if you look on the back of a label and you look through the ingredient list, if you cannot pronounce the ingredients, it's probably a good sign it shouldn't be going into your body. Same thing here. If you were to ask your grandparents, hey, are you familiar with this ingredient inside of this food? If they say yes, that's okay, that's a good sign. But if they say no, it likely means that it probably not should not be in your body. But better yet, like the food you should be consuming should not even have an ingredient list. Like they should not even have a label, right? Because hopefully it's just pure meat, right? Meats don't have a label. Fruits don't have a label. Vegetables, healthy fats, nuts, oils, seeds, avocados. I love avocados. Like they don't have like a label on the back of them saying how many ingredients they have or how like what their macronutrients are because they're just a single ingredient food. So that is your test. If 80% of the time you can stick to those foods and then the other 20% you can still certainly indulge if you want, but the more the better. The more healthy food you eat, the better you'll feel, the easier it'll be to stick to your diets because you're not going to be tempting yourself with all these processed foods. Like that is why I'm also not a huge fan of like this whole like everything in moderation or like this whole flexible dieting approach. And now, yes, we do tell our clients like, hey, if you want to eat out, have some ice cream, sure, by all means do it. But like ultimately, like the ultimate goal here is to get you to a spot where you don't even want to crave those foods because what I found for myself personally when I followed the whole flexible dieting approach is that I would allow myself to have a cookie. I would allow myself to have a scoop of ice cream and I would certainly still reach my goals. I was still hitting my calories for the day. I was still hitting my macros. I was still eating enough protein. I was still doing all these things, but it just led me to have a lot more cravings throughout the day because like I'm a human being, right? And I'm sure you guys can experience this for yourself as well after you're done eating one cookie, after you're done eating one scoop of ice cream, because the foods are engineered like this, guess what you're going to be craving more of? Like you're going to want to eat another cookie. You're going to want to eat another scoop of ice cream. You're going to want to eat another burger, a couple more fries, a couple more chips, because they're just like from like the tastes to the textures in your mouth to the smells to the sugars, the salts, the combination of everything. They are just engineered to make you want to eat even more. And like that is how I would say evil these food scientists are, who are working in the back of the lab creating these foods. They are engineered to be addicting, to make you want to buy even more, so they can make more money, so they can make a profit off you. But if you can escape the matrix, if you can escape this and just revert to whole foods, eating like a real human being, like ask yourself, what would a human being eat 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 500 years ago? They would not be eating Pop Tarts for breakfast. They would not be eating cereal for breakfast. They probably fast for a bit. They probably go hunting first, right? They do some cardio, which we would use cardio now, but they go hunting first. They go hunt for their food. They go hunt for the deer, for their protein, and then they eat, right? Like they work for their food. They hunt for their food. They don't wake up one day and suddenly start their day immediately with a massive just like meal that leaves them stuffed and satisfied. Like, no, they wake up hungry and they go hunt. They go chase after something. They go run. They go lift. They go do something. They earn their food. They work for it. Whereas we, nowadays, everything is so comfortable where we literally start our day and we just stuff ourselves with food. And then we're just super content. And it's like, oh, okay, I already ate. No rush. Like, oh, I don't need a hunt. I can just call Uber Eats for my next meal. Oh, like it's just so comforting, right? And so if you can artificially create this environment for yourself where you're not too comfortable. You actually got to work for your food. You got to start your day with some movement first, like earn your food, earn your breakfast, earn your caffeine. One of the things I like to tell myself is I wake up in the morning, I drink my coffee, I take my supplements, and then I do my cardio. And after my cardio is done is when I get my morning coffee. That's when I get to have my caffeine. Caffeine to me is a treat to me now. Just a pure black coffee. No creams, no sugars, just plain black. And I absolutely love it. And then I work for a couple hours, right? I be productive. I make some money. I write some programs, I get on some calls, I make some videos. I'm going live for you guys right now, right? And then I'll have my breakfast. I'll break my fast. I really earned it. I feel good about it, as opposed to starting the day and immediately just eating something. It's like I didn't deserve this. I don't earn this, right? And so if you can artificially create an environment for yourself, I think you're going to do yourself a lot more good than harm, essentially. So let's move on to the truth number 4. You don't have a slow metabolism. You have a slow lifestyle. Because let's break it down. Realistically speaking, you're sitting for 10 hours a day, barely moving, sleeping 6 hours, and living off caffeine. And you wonder why your metabolism sucks. Studies show that regular resistance training and walking, which is what we have all of our clients do, can increase metabolic rate by up to 20%, even at rest, which means you could burn hundreds of extra calories every single day just by living like a human being again. Wow. Rocket science. Who would have thought? So if you want to boost your metabolism, stop Googling supplements, stop trying to go on these fat burners, these fat diets, these juice cleanses, these detox these, and just start living more actively. We all want to like look for these shortcuts, but by looking and looking and looking for these shortcuts, it's actually a long cut, because by you, first of all, doing the research and then experimenting, trying these new supplements, trying these new fat diets, trying this weird workout routine, instead of you trying all these like stupid things, these shortcuts, you could very well just confront the truth and say, okay, I know what works. I listen to Coach Cohnan. I watch his live streams every single day. He's slapping me in the face with truth every single day. I know I need to be in a calorie deficit. I know I need a resistance train. I know I need to walk. So why not just confront the truth and do that, as opposed to wasting all this time trying to figure out these shortcuts, experimenting, wasting all my money on this, trying out different things here. Like, you're going to be wasting a lot more time doing this, which will just lead you nowhere, walking, running around in circles, as opposed to just confronting the truth, listening to what I have to tell you, and just sticking with that for the next several months. You're going to get to your goals a whole lot faster than trying all these gimmicks, these shortcuts. So stop looking for those and just start confronting the truth. Start living more actively. So let's go on to the final truth that I want to slap you in the face with is you are not overweight because you eat too much. You just eat too often. You were marketed breakfast as the most important meal of the day. You were told to snack every few hours to keep your metabolism high, right? To keep the furnace going. All this stupid stuff. Complete lie. A 2020 study in cell metabolism showed that time-restricted eating, right, intermittent fasting, just simply fasting a bit, drastically improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and accelerates fat loss, all without cutting calories. You don't need smaller portions. You need fewer eating windows. You need structure and you need control. So to close this off, most people won't like this video. You probably got a bit triggered during this video because the truth hurts when you've been lying to yourself for years, sometimes even decades for some of you. But if you're ready to stop pretending and ready to start leading, you can go ahead and join our online coaching program. It is not a diet. It is not a 6-week challenge, a 12-week sprint. It is a complete system to rebuild your discipline, your body, and your life. So what you can go ahead and do is book a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals, we'll go over your current struggles, and create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush them in the next couple months. So with that said, I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.